House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Congresswoman AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, are putting Trump's ICE on blast. This is, of course, after the recent arrest of Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. Yes, the sitting mayor at an ICE protest outside a detention center was arrested. Didn't have to happen, but they try and show you, don't matter with all them titles, you know what they call you. Anyway, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is now threatening to cuff up sitting members of the U.S. Congress. So you got a mayor of Newark, and now you're talking about members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, potentially. Now, Jeffries and AOC are straight up daring Trump to do it. Like, please, ICE, test me. Try it. This is literally what Hakeem Jeffries is saying. He was on Fox News, and he told them that if federal agents touch his members of the House, over a protest outside of an ICE facility, he said they'll find out. That we know. The first half of that phrase, he couldn't say that, but the brother was very clear what he meant, and he was very clear on why he meant it. Check out his words for yourself. I want him to speak for himself so you can get a sense of how he plans to respond to what he calls a red line.
Mr. Leader, good afternoon. What would your statement the other day after there was this incident in Newark, you said they better not touch our members.
Correct.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do?
They'll find out.
Of course. But doesn't that broach a?
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across?
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I know we have this.
It's a red line. It's very clear. First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke. It's a joke. They know better than to go down that road, and it's been made loudly and abundantly clear to the Trump administration. We're not going to be intimidated by their tactics to try to force principled opposition from not standing up to their extremism. It hasn't happened during the entirety of this failed term. It didn't happen when Donald Trump temporarily was sitting high in the immediate aftermath of the election. Do you think it's going to happen now when he's the most unpopular president in American history after his first 100 days? Give me a break. No one's intimidated by this dude. No one. And so there are clear lines that they just dare not cross. Questions?
Mr. Leader, good afternoon. What would your statement the other day after there was this incident?
So
you said they better not touch our members.
That is
what happens if they were to go and arrest?
Not complicated. It's not ambiguous. He said, F around and find out, basically. Anyway, this all popped off after Trump's Homeland Security crew said arrests of sitting Democratic members are, quote, on the table for what they called assaults on federal officers. Let's be clear. Nobody's assaulting federal officers. Let's stop that language. Police and other law enforcement often like to say that they were assaulted. They weren't. I'm not saying they never get assaulted. I'm just saying that all these arrests are not assaults. That's a whole other conversation for another time. Anyway, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? This is about whether federal power can be used to intimidate Black and brown lawmakers for doing their jobs, both as elected officials, but also as everyday citizens, doing oversight at ICE detention centers, where our people, Black and brown people, primarily, disproportionately, almost exclusively, are getting caged up, criminalized, and mistreated. Now, AOC didn't do the fancy press conference. She did it Jenny for the Block style. She went to Instagram. She told Trump's border czar and DHS boss, Kristi Noem, to their faces, we ain't breaking the law. She said, let me tell you exactly what she said. She said, y'all are the ones breaking the law. And if she told him, like, if you lay your hands on our people, she said, quote, we are going to have a problem. I need y'all to hear. I let y'all hear Hakeem Jeffries, who is the, speaker in waiting. Yade, right? And I'm sorry, it's audio. Here you go.
So they broke out in song on Monday. A few days prior to that, though, the video was a lot rougher. Another showdown outside that ICE detention center in New Jersey. Protesters, including Democratic lawmakers, members of the clergy there, protest the facility now a couple days in the making. Andy McCarthy is with us to tell us who's right, who's wrong on all this and where it goes from here. Andy, good morning to you, and thank you for your
morning,
time.
Bill.
Yeah, AOC says Tom Homan, Secretary Noem, you're the problem here. Here we go. Watch.
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
Okay.
Excuse that. So you hear her. She said it herself. I like things in context. I like things in context. She said we're gonna have a problem. And I believe her. And I believe Hakeem Jeffries. Now, there's a deeper question here, right? So let me just take one quick step back. I think that I'm sorry, I'm dealing with a little childcare thing. All right. Criminalizing protest is a hallmark of the Trump administration, whether it's and of this moment, right? Even before he was elected, we see what happened in the encampments on college campuses around the country. You see what's happening at Harvard. You see what's happening at, you see it, right? So I'm not surprised to see this. But what Trump is doing is saying a deeper message. And it's not just Trump, but it's the culture of this moment where it's like Black and brown people, your ass is vulnerable. Oh, you're a mayor? Oh, you're a governor? Oh, you're a member of the House of Representatives? I don't give a blank. You're still vulnerable. Lock his ass up. That's what he's doing. They're saying that message. Jeffries and AOC aren't racializing the discourse. They're saying any member of Congress gets treated like this is wrong, and they're going to teach them a lesson. To quote Jeffries, they're going to find out. Or as AOC said, we're going to have a problem. The question, of course, is what does that mean? I wish them the best in this struggle, not on every struggle, but in this particular issue. I think they're on the right side of this issue. I think Hakeem and AOC are on the right side of this issue. And so I support them on this issue in terms of saying that federal agents can't be locking people up and damn sure can't be locking up protesters, whether they're members of Congress or not. But when they're flexing their muscles and saying, F around and find out, or we're going to have a problem, what does that mean? What are they going to do? They're going to walk out? They're going to impeach him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what they can do that will be radically different than anything they've already done or haven't done. I don't know what they're going to do that will actually hold Trump accountable or force his hand to make a different choice. I just don't know. So I appreciate the aggressive response. I appreciate the transparency. I appreciate a good threat against Donald Trump, but it don't mean nothing if it don't mean nothing. And right now, it don't seem to mean nothing.